Hi, welcome to today's video. My name is Paul. So this week it's just a little small quick painting. It's kind of inspired by this time of year, so April, when I'm recording this video. So when I got up this morning, the sun was kind of early, the sun was starting to rise. It looked like it was going to be a nice sunny day. Within about 30-40 minutes it was cloudy and heavy rain and very windy. And then 30-40 minutes later, the sun was back out again. So it's just for this part of the world anyway, it's a typical April sort of day. Lots of showers. So that sort of inspired me to do this little painting. A sort of windswept hillside with a sky that looks like it's either just been raining or maybe it could start to rain at any time. Anyway, that's the general idea of the painting. The painting itself is going to be very simple. By simple, I mean the composition is simple. The palette that I'm using, the range of colors is very simple, very limited. The colors, there's just four. There's 3 blues and a cadmium yellow, and that's all. The 3 blues are just a cerulean blue, Prussian blue, and Cobalt Blue. And then the other color is just the cadmium yellow. Keeping everything simple, it just works better for me. To me, painting isn't really a highly complex technical process. I know there is a technical side to all of it. You know, things like perspective and color theory and all of that sort of stuff. There is a technical side to it, but for me, painting is mostly a sort of emotional thing rather than a technical thing. So therefore I like to keep things simple. Simple works better for me. It's the same even with brushes, so I only use one brush. I know there's a lot of people and a lot of advice out there about, you know, how many brushes should you use if you're new to watercolor painting. I only use the one brush because, again, it's just simple. If I had 3 or 4 brushes, as I was doing the painting, I would have to stop at points and think, well, is this the best brush for this part of the painting, or should I change to that brush? Or it just complicates everything. So for me, like I say, I like to keep it simple, and one brush is simple. That way I can focus just on doing the painting, and I don't need to worry about which brush to use. Sometimes limitations are good. It's the same with colors. If you only have a few colors, you don't have to sit and think, well, should I mix this one with that one, or what color should I use? You don't have any choice, so therefore you just use the color that you have. I think, for me anyway, that way of thinking has helped me with painting. It's made the process a little bit easier. When you're getting started especially, painting can seem like a very complicated thing to do. And there is certainly some advice out there that I think overcomplicates things. In terms of the brush, I can also say the style of brush is maybe more important than the brand that you use. So by style of brush, I mean the type of brush I'm using is a mop brush. You can also get a flatter brush, a sort of flathead brush. Some people, for example, like to use the Japanese style hake brush, or if you prefer, you can pronounce it as a hake brush. And it's usually made of goat hair, very simple brush, and just a wooden handle. But it has a very flat, sort of squarish or rectangular shaped head. And that's going to produce a different finished look to using a mop brush, for example. Just because you can do different things with the different style of brush. One other thing I would say, and this is where I get into slightly controversial sort of subject area, is the bristles of the brush. So I use a synthetic hairbrush, You can also get natural hair brushes, and in fact most of the advice that's out there suggests you should use natural hair brushes for watercolor painting. And when I first got started, I did use natural hairbrush. At some point, about a year ago or so, I saw a video which showed the conditions that animals were kept in for this sort of market for creating natural hairbrushes. After that, I decided that I wouldn't use a natural hairbrush anymore. I would switch to using synthetic hairbrushes. It's a little bit controversial, but it was a choice that I made. In terms of using the synthetic hairbrush, for me anyway, I don't notice a huge difference. I know some people say that the natural hairbrushes are much better, and maybe they are if you're a certain type of watercolor painter. For the sort of painting that I do, which is absolutely not traditional watercolor painting, I didn't notice any huge difference. So again, I'm happy enough using synthetic hairbrushes now. I have a list of the materials that I use, the paints and stuff, in the description box below if anybody's interested. If you made it this far, thank you for watching, and hopefully see you in next week's video.